if you're like me and you were watching the West Indies versus the first test, West Indies versus England last week, two thoughts sort of came to your head. At least they came to mind. Watching England bowl against the West Indies, it was like shooting fish in a barrel. The other thought that came to mind was this is easy as taking candy from a baby. That's how bad the West Indies batting lineup performed against, I would say, an average England attack. The England bowling attack didn't do anything special at all. Matter of fact, they weren't required to do anything special because the West Indian batsmen lacked confidence. I don't think it's a matter of ability. I think it's a matter of confidence. I think it's a matter of self-belief. I think it's a matter of being intentional. And we were none of those things in that first test match. After the first 10 overs in the first innings, we were none of those things. Gus Atkinson, I'm listening to all the pundits and the commentators and everybody's raving over Gus Atkinson. The truth of the matter is Gus Atkinson did what he was supposed to do. Bowl a good line and length. That's all he did. He didn't do anything special with the ball. I don't think his pace was anything to trouble our batsmen. But the problem really came when West Indies batsmen lacked intent. Let's do this. Let's make a comparison between when West Indies batted both times and the one time that England batted. When we batted, it looked like we were hanging on for dear life. We were afraid to make a mistake. We were afraid to lose our wickets. Afraid to apply the simple tenets of batsmanship. Work the ball into the spaces. Get off strike. There was none of that. If you looked at how the Englishmen batted, every time we found a line and a length, Joe Root, Ollie Pope, young Jamie Smith, Zach Crawley, they started moving around a little bit. They were very intentional. They try to break up our lines and lengths. And those were the simple things that West Indies did not do. England didn't do anything too special when they batted, other than be positive. They were positive. I thought the West Indian bowling performance, other than Alzari and Shamar Joseph, who were off color for obvious reasons, lack of preparation. But I thought Jason Holder bowled really well. I thought Gurishkesh Moti was really, really good. I thought Jaden Seals was really good. So to restrict England to 300 odd on a pitch that played well on the second day was really good. Where we lacked anything was when we batted. And most of the pundits in England are saying we're going to lose this series 3-0. And I'm saying 1-1. Because even though the West Indies middle order, from 2 to 5, we have 4 batsmen that have played less than 15 test matches. There are 7 players in that 11 that played last week, that started that game last week, Wednesday, that have combined less than 30 test matches between them. Most of them haven't played 31st class games. Meanwhile, if you look at the England wicketkeeper batsman, he's 24 years old. He's played 61st class matches. And he's performed like he's played that many games. So there is potential in the West Indies top order. Yes, it is quite inexperienced, but there is potential. We've seen it. at different times. We've seen what Mikhail Louis can do. Yes, the West Indies first class system is doesn't really lend itself to producing top class batsmen, but you can see he was a cut above the rest when he played during the first class season. During those that span of 7 matches, you would see he was a cut above the rest. Alec Athanaze, we know he's a talent. We know that Kavem Hodge can hold his own. We've seen that against Australia. My major worry is Kirk McKenzie. Kirk McKenzie is my major worry. And Kirk McKenzie should be West Indies' major worry. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Kirk McKenzie is not ready for international test match cricket. Some players, when you look at them, when you watch them bat, you can see it. You can say, yes, his technique, his talent, his potential translates to the international scene. Kirk McKenzie's not one of those. This is a young man that needs to be nurtured a little bit more. He needs to be in the A team, the academy, wherever first class cricket is playing by the West Indies. That's where he needs to be, at least for the next 2 years, not on the test scene. They're going to destroy this young man's career. If they're not realistic, they're going to destroy his career. He has a lot to learn. Watch him back. He has a lot to learn. His foot doesn't go anywhere. As a number 3 batsman playing test cricket against the likes of Jimmy Anderson and Pat Cummins and the Starks and Jasprit Bumrah, you are food. If you don't move your feet, you are food. Sadly, that is the case with Kirk McKenzie. I said it before, he should have been sat down and allowed to play in the A tour that South Africa is going to make to the West Indies, so he can work some things out. That's where you allow that young man to learn. You don't put him to learn or have him learn at the highest level. West Indies cricket have been doing that with our cricketers for the last almost 40 years. Our players are learning on the go, and we are wondering why we have lost in the last 30 years almost 130 test matches, more than any other team in this world. So if I was Andre Coley, and the only tweak I would make, if I was Andre Coley, Kirk McKenzie would have to sit. Matter of fact, I would be sitting Shamar Joseph also. There's an injury brewing there, and you don't want to risk that. But Kirk McKenzie would be sitting. Kevin Sinclair will come in his place. Alec Athanaze moves 1 up. Kavem Hodge moves 1 up. You bat Sinclair at 5. You don't need to play him as an all-rounder. He is one of the best batsmen currently in the West Indies. And like I said before, he proved it against Australia. When you looked at him bat versus the rest of the team, the level of assuredness that he showed against the Pat Cummins and Nathan Lyon and Mitchell Stark and Cam Green and all these guys, you need to utilize that. If West Indies are viewing Kevin Sinclair as an all-rounder, they're making a big mistake. He needs to be in the 11. If you want some stability in that middle order, you need to play Kevin Sinclair. You already have an inexperienced middle order. The last thing you need is to be playing a batsman who is out of form, sorely out of form. Anyways, that was my take with regards to the first test. West Indies are notorious for starting test match series badly. If you go back and look over the last 15, 20 years, you will see what I'm talking about. Just go check. So, in the face of a lack of preparation for this tour by most of the players, we were still in preparation mode in the first test. So let's see what happens at Trent Bridge come Thursday morning, how things work out. I am your host, Kevin Henry, for the Top of Off Cricket Podcast. Don't forget to leave your comments down in the comment section. See you next time.